Hi and welcome back to Mike's Garage. So in this episode, straight after the last one, the review, the car's all nice and warmed up. So now it's time for a compression check and a good look at what's happening inside. So the intention this time, as I said before, there's issues with the engine, the VVT units need to be replaced, that's a known no. What I need to do now though is have a quick look at the engine in terms of its compression, the state of the oil consumption, what the spark plugs look like and what the pistons and cylinders look like, which I want to do before it goes off in 2 days time to the specialist to get the VVT units done and also to investigate the oil consumption if indeed it is an issue, and that's what I need to determine now. So 3 stages to that. Firstly, a compression check. Secondly, have a look at the bores and the cylinders and the piston tops, and then thirdly just have a look at the oil consumption to work out what it's done. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the first jobs I've got to do before I do the compression check is to make sure the fuel pump isn't pumping fuel through the cylinders when I'm trying to do a compression test, because that could get a bit messy. So behind this panel here, which it's always a pain to get out, but if you pull it out and then pull it up, ask me how many times I've had to do this with this car. Put it to one side, what you get is a relay and fuse panel, and the relay we're interested in here is relay number 4, which is this one here, which is the fuel pump. So if we just pull that out, and I'm going to need to use my other hand for that one. There we go. Let's check that's number 4. Yes it is. And now that that is out, the fuel pump will no longer work. And what I now need to do is get in the front, start the engine and drain all the fuel that's currently in the lines. And now we start the car, and hopefully it should start, and then very quickly run out of fuel. And die. So in order to get the spark plugs out to do the compression test, pretty basic tools. All you need is a T25 Torx head to get off the PCV diaphragm, and then a 7 and 8mm sockets just for the clips on the intake hoses, a 16mm spark plug socket, and in my case, never be without your magnetic retrieval tool, because the amount of times that saved me is incredible. That's pretty much it. The rest of it, about a 5-minute job to get all of that off and out. Let's get to it. There's one intake pipe out. Nice and simple. Then that gives me access to the PCV diaphragm, which is this round hat here. One clip undone. 2 Torx head bolts. And that just pops right out. Typical Jaguar, taking half the thread with it. I'll have to do something about that. What I then need to do is pop the spark plug cover off, which is as simple as that. And then I need to go back and get the coil packs off as well. Spark plugs out on this side before I take everything apart and then find out, as I did with that car there, when I was doing the spark plugs, that they'd sent me the wrong size ones, which meant I had to put everything back together rather than just one side. Lesson learned on that one. One of the things I do when I get spark plugs out, magnetic tool makes it a heck of a lot easier. And out they come. We'll have a look at those later when they've cooled down. A little bit warm just now. And that's another reason why the magnet tool comes in handy. Thank you. Every time. So that's the spark plugs done on one side. As you see, it's pretty simple. Like I said, 7 and 8mm bolts all the way through, between the coil packs, the intake hoses, and the one bolt holding the intake hose in. A T25 Torx for the PCV valve, and you're good to go. Nice and simple. Now onto the other side. Rinse and repeat. So that's all 8 spark plugs out. As you can see, it was pretty simple. I mean, well within the range of anyone who's even moderately DIY competent and has a half decent socket set and torque set. But now what I need to do is start doing that compression check. So off we go. So this is the compression tester I'm going to use. Got it after the old one that I had previously broke off in number 5 cylinder when I was first trying to do this compression test, which was good fun. I had to work quite hard to get that one out without damaging the spark tube or any of that sort of thing, but luckily managed to get it out. Got this in the post a few days later. Again, not going to show you every single cylinder. What I'm going to be doing is just testing and recording each one, and I'll put the totals up. But just to keep the numbering sorted, the way Jaguar number their engines, and probably most other V8s, but anyway, is cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7 and 8 are towards the rear, 1 and 2 are to the front. Even cylinders are to the left hand side of the engine, and the odd ones are to the right. So when you see the numbers up on the board, that's what I'm talking about. Compression tester's in, zeroed. All I need to do is go in, crank the engine over with the throttle open for about 8 to 10 compressions, and whatever reading it goes up to, that's what she says. Okay, so I've got everything back together.
Didn't bother filming it because it was getting a bit late in the day, and pretty much just run the video I played in reverse and you've got it. It was a pretty simple job. And now, proof in the pudding is making sure that this thing starts again. It'll probably take a while to turn over, just because the fuel's got to get into the lines, but there we go. Although interestingly, and the rev counter started working again. Like I said with Jags, they do tend to have a few little electrical gremlins, and I was halfway expecting an engine warning light to come on that I'd have to clear. I've got the diagnostics for that, but no. All the warning lights appear to be off, and we're all good. Now to check the oil. Well, that was quite an interesting day. So overall, I think that's quite positive. The compression tests shown that the pistons in the cylinders seem to be generating good compression. There was no real one that stood out as being particularly duff or anything like that. The oil in the cylinders does seem to be still a thing though. There was a fair bit around one of the spark plug seals, in fact all of them. I just got a picture of one of them, and as you can see from the borescope shots, the tops of the pistons are pretty manky and black, and that's certainly not the way they looked before the engine was opened up and worked on. So, without prejudging it, my hope is that this is something top end, and certainly the amount of oil around the spark plug bosses would suggest it needs some spark plug seals, probably. I'll take some advice on that. And my hope is that the valve stem seals are where this oil is getting in, but as said, I'll wait until proper experts on that engine get to look at it and tell me what the score is. Wasn't able to get a good oil reading today. The first one I got on the slight slope the car's on just now seemed to suggest there's about half a litre or so has gone, but the one I got on the flat when I'd started it up after I'd done all the work to it was well below the minimum, and that's the frustration with this car. The oil levels seem to be quite difficult to read accurately. So I'm going to get another one when I go into work tomorrow and the car's had a chance to sit for a day on a level surface, and that'll be the one I use as the benchmark. But overall, so far, it's fairly optimistic that there's something in the top end that's letting oil get in. The engine compression's good. The chances of there being an oil control ring that's duff is hopefully fairly slim, and really that's as far as I can dig in with my tools, my abilities, but at least I know roughly where we are. So the next step will be getting it up to the specialists and then see what they say. But in the meantime, there'll be other videos coming up. There's a few things I've got planned. There's certainly a massive to-do list on the various cars I've got, and I plan on filming all of that for your entertainment, of course. So really what I would say at the end is, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up, give me a like, comment please, and hit that subscribe button. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much.